Good morning, students. Next topic in the second unit we are considering as a fluid statics. So last we have considered the properties of the fluids, different properties of fluids. Now next topic as a fluid mechanics is divided as a statics and dynamics. So the first part we are studying as a fluid statics. So we know static means stationary. Stationary. Fluid is not flowing. The fluid may be in the container, or we are considering the relative velocity of the fluid is near about zero. So fluid statics, here we are referring the fluids are not moving. So in that case the velocity, that is u, we are considering as a zero. So simple example, fluid may be in container. In that case the fluid is velocity is zero at that time, or stationary fluid is there. So at that time the velocity u component is zero. So we know that is a Newton's law as a viscosity, mu du by dy is equal to shear stress. So tau is equal to mu du by dy. As change in velocity will be zero, so shear stress will be the zero. So only force acting on the fluids are, so on this fluid a normal force, that is the pressure acting on the surface, and second one is the force due to the gravity. So two forces are acting when fluid is under rest. Suppose we have considered fluid in this container, so that is at rest. So there is a one force due to the pressure, and second due to the, at this particle, force due to the weight, that is the due to gravity will be acts. So when we are considering there are no shear stresses, only force due to pressure force of the fluid will be act, and second one force due to the weight of the fluid, that is the force due to the gravity will be act. So next we consider what we know, pressure is the normal force exerted by a fluid per unit area. So suppose we have considered in a fluid a small, in this fluid a very small fluid particle or a fluid area, that is df. Here we have shown df as a fluid area. On that, uh, dA is the fluid area. On that a small force df is acting in a perpendicular directions. So we can consider, uh, if this force is uniformly distributed over these fluid particles, and that time we can consider df, if you take the integration of this df by dA, so we get force per unit area. So we have considered infinitesimally very small area. On that case the force df, if you integrate, we get pressure is equal to force upon area. So that is the, here point pressure acting on the point we are consider as a very smaller area, and in that force is uniformly distributed. In that case if we integrate, we get as a pressure is equal to force upon area. So units of pressure are different. Pressure units are SI unit, force is in Newton, and area as a meter square. So one unit as a simple as a Newton per meter square. SI unit is Newton per meter square, or also called as a Pascal. So Pascal as a very smaller unit, that is, 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to normally 10 raised to 5 Pascal. So instead of Pascal, sometimes kilopascal, that is 10 raised to 3 Newton per meter square, or 1000 Newton per meter square. Or large unit, as a large unit of the pressure is megapascal. Megapascal, that is 10 raised to 6 Newton per meter square. So another unit, as we know, as a bar. Pressure is measured in terms of bar. So one atmospheric pressure is taken as a 1 bar, that is near about 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. In MKS unit, that is mass meter, kilogram, and second system the mass we can write as a force as a kgf, that is force is the weight, so that is kgf. And force acting, so force we can write as a kgf and area in the meter square. So kgf meter square or kgf centimeter square. So there are units of the pressure are pascal, newton per meter square, SI unit. Then larger unit is the megapascal, 10 raised to 6. One bar, another unit is the bar, that is the 10 raised to 5 newton per meter square. And major mks unit is the kgf per centimeter square. So in industry sometimes kgf centimeter square can be used as a pressure unit. So next we see there are different laws of the statics. So static we have considered as a the fluid is stationary. So at that time there is no shear stress acting on it. Only the force of pressure is acting on the, that is the normal force is acting on the fluid. So here we consider next law as a Pascal's law. Pascal's law of the statics. So here we have considered the wedge shape element, wedge shape element. So in that case, the Pascal law states that the pressure or intensity of the pressure at any point in a fluid at rest is same in all directions. That is, pressure in the x direction, y direction, and z direction is same at a given point. So we have to prove that this statement as a Pascal's law as a simply the, if you consider in this as a, in this container fluid and one point is considered, so pressure in x direction is px, pressure along the y direction is py, and along the z direction is pz. So we consider here at a given point the intensity of a pressure is equally in all directions. So same pressure force is acting in all directions. So Pascal's law is again another way we can consider. If you consider here uh, two cylinders, if you have consider this as a two cylinders, one is the smaller. So here on this, at if you consider point it at this, so say according to the Pascal's law, in a closed container the uh, fluid pressure is equal in all direction. So here suppose force F1 is applied, so and area of this cylinder, smaller cylinder is A1. So pressure is F1 by A1, and if here force F2 is there and area of this second cylinder is A2. A2 is greater than A1. So in that case A2 is the area. So second pressure is F2 upon A2, and in first cylinder pressure is F1 upon A1. So according to this Pascal's law, the pressure intensity is equal in all direction. So when here force is applied, here pressure in the smaller cylinder is F1 upon A1. So this same pressure will be equally transmitted, or this pressure will be equally transmitted in the second cylinder. So at that time we can consider F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. So this F2 force that is on the large cylinder we can calculate as a F2 is equal to A1, F2 is equals to A2 will be A2 by A1 into F1. So A2 is very large, A2 is large as compared to the A1. So small cylinder is A1 and large cylinder is A2. So F2 force will be more That means the smaller force can be used small cylinder in that pressure applied is F1. So this smaller force can be converted into the larger force at a bigger cylinder. As we can see here, F2 will be more because A2 by A1. This ratio will be the larger one. So smaller force will be amplified in this second cylinder. So this is the Pascal's law. Intensity of the pressure at a point in a liquid at rest is same in all directions. That is Px is equal to Py is equal to Pz. So this we have to prove. So for that we have considered wedge shaped fluid. So this as a wedge shaped fluid is there. Particular we have considered wedge shaped fluid means that is having the different dimensions. So dx along x direction, dx is the length, along the y direction dy, and along the z direction is as shown here dz. So we have considered the here wedge shaped fluid this as a dz, dx, dy and dz. So we have considered the unit width of the fluid element means per width is perpendicular to this paper. So width we are assuming the 1 unit width of the paper. So we can see as a, this wedge shape becomes as a triangle. In that case, this length is dx along x direction. This is the dy and this becomes the dz. So width of the element in this perpendicular to paper we have considered 1. So face area of the AB will be the area of AB. Suppose this area of the AB will be the width is 1. So it's layered dy into 1. This side is dy and width is 1. So dy into 1. So here we have written as a this is a wedge shaped element. So having the dimension dx, dy, dz. So if we have considered this as the angle between the AB and BC as a theta. So this is the force. This Px dy means the force because Px and dy into 1 is the area. Dy into 1 is the area. So pressure into area is nothing but the force. So force acting on the AB is Px dy1. Force acting on the AC side is Py. Pressure on the y direction is Py and its area is dx into 1. 1 because we have taken unit width and pressure acting on the BC will be the Pz, pressure Pz. So force acting on the BC will be the pressure into area Pz dz1. So these are the three forces acting on the three sides. On this side AB is Px dy1, vertical force Py dx1, and along the z direction Pz tz1. So again we have considered angle is theta. So same by this if you draw the perpendicular to z direction, here also angle will be the theta. So we have considered this wedge shape. Now we have to write the resolving the forces along the as in mechanics, we resolve the forces along x direction, that is summation of fx is equal to 0, and then resolving the forces along y direction, summation of fy will be 0. So resolving these two forces we get, so resolving in x direction, the horizontal force is px dy into 1 in the right direction, and z along the z direction the force is acting pz dz into 1, but this z component having the two components, this angle is theta. uh, this angle is theta. So this remaining angle will be the as a cos this remaining angle will be the 90 minus theta. So component along the horizontal side will be the pz dz sine 90 minus theta. this z component having the two component. Vertical component is sine 90 minus theta and horizontal component is cos 90 minus theta. So for this horizontal component, as we are resolving forces along x direction, so horizontal component is px dy1, and this is negative because it is in the opposite direction. So pz dz sine 90 minus theta. So we can see here the resolving forces in x direction will be the px dy1 and pz dz1 sine 90 minus theta. So sine 90 minus theta is cos theta. So we can replace sine 90 minus theta as a cos theta. But in figure we can see here now dz cos theta will be the, we can see here dz cos theta. So this side is dz cos theta will be the ab upon dz. So dz cos theta will be the ab and ab is dy. So we can write dz cos theta as a ab, that is dy. So replacing that we get px dy1 pz dy1 equals to 0. So we get pz on the right side, px is equal to pz. So we have shown pressure in x direction is equal to pressure in z direction. Now we are considering the resolving all forces in y directions. So in y directions, the forces acting are the vertical force, that is acting on the side AC is, this is a vertical force acting as a py dx into 1, and the horizontal vertical component of this 90, this angle is 90 minus theta. So this vertical component will be the cos 90 minus theta. Again, this fluid element having the some weight. So weight is nothing but the rho g. So we can write here weight of the fluid. So weight is the mg. So m we can write rho into volume into g. So rho, density is rho, and volume is area into width. So area is given, area of this wedge shape element, height is AB, and length base is AC. So area is AB into AC by 2, and the width is 1. So volume is area into width. So we get this rho into area into G. So resolving now this for vertical y direction, px dx 1 pz tz1 cos 90 minus theta, and this weight is a, this side is dx, this side is dy. So dx into dy upon 2 is the area of triangle and 1 is the width. So volume is dx dy by 2 into 1 into rho g. So now next cos 90 minus theta will be the sine theta. So but again same as a dz sine theta we can see as a dx in this direction. Sine theta is dx upon dz. So dz sine theta we can write dx. So here we can write dz sine theta as a dx. So we get, and neglecting the weight of the fluid element, as we are considering very small particle, so neglecting the weight of the fluid element we get this term will be 0. So we get py is equal to pz. So from this equation 1 and 2, px is equal to py is equal to pz, that is the pressure at any point, pressure at any point in xyz direction is equal in static fluid. That is, in static fluid at this point pressure along y direction, pressure along x direction, and pressure along z direction is same. Means when you apply a force on a when you apply the pressure at a point, it will be equally transmitted in all directions. So applications of Pascal's law we can see in the hydraulic press, hydraulic jacks, hydraulic lifts, where the fluid, oil or another fluids are used. In that case, in a hydraulic, we can see in diagram here two cylinders we are considered. This is a smaller and this one is larger. In that hydraulic fluid is taken. At this side, force applied is F1. At this side, so when F1 is applied over the smaller cylinder, in that case its area is A1. So in that case pressure on the smaller cylinder is F1 by A1. Pressure is force per unit area, and because of this applied force the same force will be equally transmitted, same pressure will be equally transmitted to the larger cylinder. So at pressure is same according to Pascal's law, the pressure is equal in all directions. So same pressure will be transmitted to the larger cylinder. So in that case the pressure is F2 by A2. So these two pressures are equal. So equating these two equations we can find as a F2 is equal to F2 as a is equal to A2 by A1 into F1. So this F2 will be always larger because A2 by A1 is more. This diameter is more as compared to the smaller. Means simply when you apply the smaller force at the one point, we get large force. The force will be amplified because the equal pressure will be transmitted in all directions. So F2 will be more. So by using smaller force we can lift the heavier objects. So in screw jack or hydraulic lifts we can see here hydraulic lifts are used to lift the object. So by applying very smaller force at a one point in a cylinder we can apply more force, we can get more force at the other end by the Pascal's law. Where so Pascal's law is useful in designing the hydraulic lifts because we have to determine how much force will require to raise the to lift the objects. So in this cylinders hydraulic fluid, this blue is the hydraulic fluid, pressure is applied at one point. So this force pressure will be equally transmitted to this, and here will be get more force because here force will be the in that case will be the amplified because F2 will be the A2 by A1 into F1. So that is the we can apply the smaller force and we can get greater force at a larger cylinder. Second, we are using the hydraulic jacks in the motor cars to lift the vehicle to replace the puncture or tire. We can use the hydraulic jacks. So at this point, in this case, this is a hydraulic cylinder inside this. So when we pull and move this lever, so here application of force by the lever. So lever is can be by we know by lever a greater force can be applied here. So this lever we can move up and down. So piston here inside this there is a fluid that will be uh, you can see in this uh, here in hydraulic jack this fluid applied at a smaller cylinder as the same in example. At this point the this lever will be apply the force. So this force smaller force will be transmitted as a pressure at the other cylinder. So F2 will be more as than the F1. So we can lift the so this hydraulic jack is placed at a point where in a below the car where we have to lift the car. So more force can be applied. Next example as hydraulic brakes. So hydraulic brakes again use the principle of Pascal law. So fluid we can see in diagram. The hydraulic fluid when we press the brake pedal at that time fluid will be here is the smaller cylinder that will be forces the fluid in this larger cylinder. So large cylinder here force is more, so it can be apply the braking force. So pads will be move and apply the frictional force. So we can see here when it stops, the force is applied by this hydraulic fluid, and when this is we remove the brake pedal or we remove the pressure at this point, the fluid will be again move back. So as like the principle of Pascal law, that is using the smaller force we can apply the larger force because pressure is equal in all directions. So this is a Pascal's law. Next we see the variation of pressure in a fluid at rest. So when you consider this is the free surface of a liquid, this is the another bottom surface of a liquid. So we have considered these are the layers of the fluid. So one layer is rest above other layer, and the fluid is at rest. Means there is no velocity of the fluid. So only forces are acting on this. We have considered a fluid element A, B, C, D. So there are forces acting. Pressure force acting on this is the AB. So pressure force means pressure into area. So area of the AB we have considered smaller area as a delta A. Similarly, pressure is acting on the base CD. This as the CD. So this will be the P plus delta P by delta Z delta Z. So Z is the variation in the depth. At this is the 0, and as Z is goes on increasing in the downward direction. So increase in the pressure will be the dP. That is the increase in pressure will be dP. In downward dP will be the P plus dP by dz. For a smaller fluid element, we can consider dP by dz is equal to delta P by delta Z in Z direction. So dP we can write as a delta P by delta Z into delta Z. So there are two forces, vertical forces are acting. One on the AB is P into delta A. This is the force acting, and on the downward side, because of pressure, P plus delta P by delta Z into delta A is acting. Again, there is a weight of this fluid element will be acting in a downward directions, and horizontal forces, the horizontal forces that is AD and BC will be cancel each other because they are equal and opposite. So same forces are acting on the uh, both sides. So in that case, they will be cancel each other. So we can consider the pressure on the AB is P delta A, pressure on the CD is this, the weight of the fluid element is rho g V, so that is rho g, delta weight of the fluid is mg, and m is rho into volume. So volume of this fluid element will be the area into delta Z, and forces on the AD and BC will be the equal and opposite, so they will be cancels. So from that hydrostatic law is developed. So it states that the rate of increase of pressure in vertical downward direction equal to the specific weight of the fluid at that point. So specific fluid weight of the fluid is we know as a rho g. So at that point, the rate of increase of pressure in vertical direction is, that is delta P. Rate of increase of pressure in vertical downward direction is equal to specific weight of the fluid at that point. So we can get delta P as a rho g. So after solving, we get equation as a rho g z. So this is the important statement. So when you have to find, so when when we have to find the pressures, when you have to find the pressure at depth, when you have to find the pressures at a depth, we use the hydrostatic law. It simply states that the pressure at a given point in a vertical downward direction you can find as a rho g z. So as z goes on increasing, the more pressure is there. So because in other words, there are more layers at the bottom layer, there are more layers are rest. So means because of these more layers, there is a greater weight is acting. Means pressure will be higher in the downward directions. So that can be find as a pressure is nothing but the rho g z. So height we can calculate z. So suppose we have to find the from this level the pressure will be the rho g z. So that is the hydrostatic law. So we have to can obtain its expression. So again resolving the forces, uh, we can consider the horizontal forces are balance each other. So vertical forces will be the P delta A on the upper face. Then this is a force on the upper face. On the bottom face, the force is acting as a this P plus delta Pz, and next is the weight of the fluid element. So cancelling each term, we get this deba P by deba Z is equal to rho g, and rho g is nothing but the weight density of the fluid. So that is the hydrostatic law. Increase of the pressure delta P by deba Z in vertical downward direction is equal to weight density of the fluid. So that is the increase in the pressure in vertical downward direction is weight density of the fluid at that point. So integrating this equation, integration of delta P and taking delta Z on the right side, we get integration of dP as a P rho g Z. So this is the, we can find the pressure at a given point from a depth. Suppose we have to find pressure at this point in a fluid, so we can simplify it by measuring this depth as a z. Pressure is rho g z, and if you take z rho g on the right side, left side, we get z is equal to p by rho g, and this is called as a static pressure head. So z is equal to p by rho g is called as a static head. So this we have considered two important law. Hydrostatic law states that pressure is equal to rho gz, or increase in pressure in downward direction is weight of the fluid. And second Pascal's law, equal pressure in at a static fluid, equal pressure in all directions. So that can be used to design of the hydraulic lifts, hydraulic jacks, etc. So these are the 2 points we have considered. In next, we consider the like another laws of this fluid statics. Thank you.